And good morning, everyone. Welcome to the monthly DAC Webcast. It's April 13th, and I'm Jennifer Stafford, the Director in the Division of Assessment and Accountability Support. Thank you for being with us this morning. Before we get started into the agenda, I just wanted to reflect just a moment on the mass shooting that did happen in Kentucky this week. Although it was at a local business, our students were impacted. We had students that were on lockdown. We had students that were from across Kentucky, that were in Louisville, close to the location. They were impacted. And so we just want to take a moment to think about them and let everyone know that we're here to support our students. Our commissioner has a student advisory council who has done research on school safety, and they were able to present to the Kentucky Board of Education this week on Tuesday. If you get a chance to watch their presentation, our students have recommendations on safety at school. And so I think that our students have real concerns about their safety. And I appreciate the Commissioner's Student Advisory Council bringing forth some recommendations on that. We have an exciting agenda for you today. We have several people that are here that will be presenting with us today. We have Lisa Jett, Shara Savage, we have Helen Jones that are presenting this morning. And if you have questions, Ben Riley is monitoring our DAC info mailbox. So please email your questions to dacinfo@education.ky.gov. We'll start out with Lisa Jett. She's going to bring us some information about upcoming training for our K-Screen. Then we'll go into the AKSA Window 2. Helen will provide us some input and information on that. And then the deadline to apply for our consultant position that's available and open in our division is coming soon. The deadline is coming soon. So she's going to encourage everyone to share that with their teachers, administrators, or folks that may be a good fit for assessment accountability. We'll pass it then over to Shara, who has some reporting deadlines that she's going to share with you when our reports for our students around our ACT spring administration. And then she's going to share with everyone the ACT spring 2024 testing dates for the junior administration. And then Ben Riley is going to present us the site visits and the plan around our monitoring that is federally required. I'll be back at the end to take any of your questions. So at this point, I will turn it over to Lisa Jett.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It is K-Screen season. Our first training would be the Train the Trainer. The Train the Trainer is required for new district trainers who will be training others to implement the K-Screen this season. The first Train the Trainer event will be on April 26th from 9 to 2. This will be a 5-hour virtual event. There will be 1 hour you will be asked to complete on your own prior to the actual training. This training will allow you to receive 6 hours of effective instructional leadership credit. The Train the Trainer registration for the April 26th session will be available until 5 o'clock Eastern Time on April 21st. You can access that by clicking the link on this slide. It is also available on the Common Kindergarten Entry Screener webpage. More information on the training will be provided via email on the 24th to everyone who has registered. We will also have an in-person option later in July, as well as a second virtual option that will be offered in August. Before I turn it over to Helen, Ben, are there any questions?
At this time, I don't have any in the inbox, but we always follow up at the end of our DAC webcast, so we will follow up then.
Thank you, Ben.
Well, good morning, everyone. And as Jennifer stated, our hearts and our thoughts are with the families that were impacted by the shooting. And we just want you to know that we're here for you as well. I just want to talk to you about a few upcoming things within the alternate Kentucky summative assessments, window 2. At this point, I want to start with you should have received all of your test materials by now. You should have all of those in all of the materials should be in your district. If you have not received your materials, please reach out to us here at dacinfo.ky.gov, and we will support you as needed and see if we can locate those materials. And that is critical because the window opens this Monday, which is April 17th. So if you have not received those test materials, please, by all means, reach out to us ASAP, and I will work with the University of Kentucky to ensure that you have those. In addition to that, the SRD also will be opening on Monday for you to start entering those test scores. And those will be, you will have the opportunity to enter the scores starting on Monday through June 2nd. So I did want to address one question or one concern that may come up. So if you have new students that were newly identified for window 2 or that moved into your district and you're not sure if they've been tested for window 1, please also reach out to me and let me know, and we can get that taken care of. It is imperative that we get all of our students tested, and we need to have scores for window 1 as well as window 2, because that is the complete test. Window 1 is the first half of the test, and then window 2 items are the second half of the test. So if you have a new student, please let me know, and we will work with you to make sure we can address the needs of those students. Let me stop there. Do we have any questions regarding the AKSA then?
We don't have any in the inbox at this time, but we'll follow up at the end.
Okay, thank you so very much. So the next topic that I want to talk to you about, we think this is very exciting. As Jennifer stated, we have a consultant position that is available within our division, and we've been sending out notifications. So if you know of anyone that would be a good fit or that would be interested in joining our team, because we do have a team approach here in our division, please advise them, or if you're interested in joining us, you may apply. The links are here within the PowerPoint, and the deadline to apply is Friday, which is tomorrow. So if you're interested in joining KDE and joining specifically the Office of Assessments and Accountability and the Division of Assessments and Accountability Support, we would love to have you. So those are all of my topics for today. At this time, I'm going to stop and see if any questions have come in, and if not, I will be turning it over to Shara. And any questions at this time?
We don't have any questions for the consultant position at this time.
Okay, great. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Shara for some ACT updates.
Thank you, Helen. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone had a restful spring break and a good long weekend. I have a few updates, a few things I want to share with you, some resources, and talk about spring 2024. So with the Windows 1 and 2 having been wrapped up, we need to start talking about the score reports. So now this year will be a little different. Those score reports will not be in PAN. So they will be housed solely in the ACT Success site. But we do ask that you allow 3 to 8 weeks for all your scores to be in there before contacting ACT, because they are completed in batches. So they don't hold an entire school scores, and they just, as they come in and they get them processed, they process them into the success site. So allow that 8 weeks before contacting ACT. But if you do have any questions or concerns about a score, on your screen, you see that there's a link to the ACT contact web form. Fill that out and they will get with you on any questions that you may have. Now, another link on the screen for you is the 2023 school report schedule. In that, you'll find the schedule that where the final data will be, when that will be, and that is no later than May 22nd. Those final reports and data will be uploaded into the success site. Okay. And then here is some resources around the success site and those reports. So first off, in step 7 on the ACT hosted website, there is a list of documents and resources for you around that data and how you can use that data. If you want to know more about how to work the success site, register for that webinar on 4/19. That will be a live webinar and they will be taking live questions. They have some really good information in that webinar. If you are unable to make the 4/19 webinar, there is the link there is on the screen, a review of the on-demand content, but there's not the live Q&A that goes along with that portion of it. So those are all good resources for you. Now, as a reminder, excuse me, the data, this ACT data is not embargoed. So once you get your final data reports, you are free to share that information. Okay, so now let's jump into spring 2024. So we have here on the screen the dates for test window 1 and test window 2. New this year, you're going to have 9 testing days within that initial test window and 9 days within the makeup window. So lots of time to get those tests completed during those 2 weeks. So remember, this upcoming year, you're going to have 18 testing days. So we have a lot of time to get it done this upcoming year. So that's very exciting news. Okay, now that we're talking about 2024 and we can put that behind us. Let's talk about how we can go ahead and prep for the upcoming school year. So right now, I know counselors are working with their sophomores. They're getting them ready and prepped for their junior year. And for students who have IEPs, some of those ARC committee meetings happen now. So one thing that you can include with that's now current sophomores, that's going to be your incoming juniors, you can go ahead and download and print off the consent form for ACT. And it's located on the ACT hosted website. As you can see, the red arrow, the consent to release form. I know most of you, I'm sure, are well versed in this form, but just to give a little background, it's for students who have IEPs and for you to be able to upload that information into the success site. So we encourage you as a best practice to go ahead and attempt to collect this consent during those ARC committee meetings. So again, if you're having those now, go ahead and have that at the ready during those meetings. This form is really to protect you, you at the school level. ACT does not require you to upload it into Success. You just keep it on file locally. And again, it's to protect you. If a school, if you're unable to get consent, either during those ARC committees, get the signature during those ARC committees, or by sending it by email to parents, or sending it to home with the student, you can always contact the student's family guardians by phone. You can get phone consent. So with that, if you are unable to get the consent, please reach out to KDE, myself, or to ACT Accommodations, and we will walk you through on the next steps for that. So again, if you're unable to get this this information, give me a call, and I'll help you, and I'll walk you through the next steps. All right, I believe that's all I have for you today. So I'm going to pause here. Ben, do we have any questions for ACT?
We didn't have any questions. We did get one email about ACT, and it was just on slide 12. They were having trouble with a link, so I've let them know we're going to look into that, and I've sent the link over to you. And after our webcast, we can get that squared away.
Yeah, we sure will. Thank you, Ben.
All right.
Now I will turn it over to Jennifer. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm going to be turning it over to Ben.
If it makes you feel better, I thought Jennifer was next too, so no worries there. Good morning, everyone. Almost afternoon, it feels like. I'm Ben Riley, the systems consultant, and I've been on here before in the Division of Assessment and Accountability Support. I'm often the person checking your DAC info emails and sharing those questions, but today I also wanted to come on and talk to you, and I wanted to share about our upcoming site visit survey and send you some information surrounding that. And I realized that I have not taken control of the PowerPoint slides, so let me do that. There we go. So our site visits will typically look the same this year. They're going to be in person and virtual both. They will be both purposefully and randomly selected, and the information collected from those is going to be documented in a Google form for us to reference at a later date. We have already placed those questions that we ask at our site visits on the forms webpage, and I've linked that in this PowerPoint presentation. Also, we've linked the other surveys that you may need as well. So the ACT and the Access are linked on the same webpage in addition to the KSA and AKSA. Our site visits, typically if they're in person, we give a 30-minute advance notice via phone call to your district's DAC. And then for virtual site visits, we will work with your DAC and BAC to schedule that time in advance. Virtual site visits will be utilizing Microsoft Teams as we typically do for most KDE related events. And if you have any technical issues with that, well, again, we'll work with you on that to make sure that's possible. And also just in addition to that, that the status of in-person or if it's a virtual site visit is going to be determined by the Office of Assessment and Accountability. So very similar format to last year. No major changes other than just some slight nuances changed in the questions that we've already posted online for you all, but same general format. At this time, though, I am going to stop and ask Helen, who's helping me out with the DAC info inbox, if we received any questions.
Ben, no questions at this time.
Okay. So I think I'm going to turn it back over to Jennifer, and I'm going to hop back into the DAC info inbox, and we will move forward.
Thanks, Ben, and thanks to Lisa, Shara, and Helen for the updates that they have provided and the good information. Since we have time here, I'll just note a couple of highlights for us that have happened this week. Yesterday, the Office of Assessment and Accountability, along with Pearson, provided an office hour for the Kentucky Summit of Assessment. So I want to thank the team at KDE, Melissa Chandler, Kevin O'Hare, Helen Jones, Kristen Roseberry, and and also our partners at Pearson, Candy, Gressling, um, um, Greta, and Scott Wilson, um, for their great support of the office hour yesterday. It went quite well. We had over 100 participants at peak, and we felt like that it was very successful. So thanks to everyone who participated. We do have a couple of other office hours that are scheduled. Those office hours are not recorded because those are more informal than we typically provide. And so those are for the individual people that come in, the participants, for them to feel very comfortable also to ask questions and know that they're not being recorded. So those are upcoming in the next couple of weeks. That we will have additional ones, and I'm trying to recall when those are. The upcoming office hours are for Friday, April 28th from 10 to 11 Eastern Time, and Wednesday, May 17th from 10 to 11 Eastern Time. So those are for district assessment coordinators as well as building assessment coordinators and anyone that is available and has questions around the administration of the Kentucky Summit of Assessment. So please share those invitations with your building staff because we want those we want to be able to provide support for our schools specifically. So please feel free to share that. In addition, we had yesterday at the Kentucky Board of Education meeting, the board met on Tuesday and Wednesday. Yesterday, there was a discussion around the Kentucky United We Learn Council, and the focus for yesterday was on the Accelerated Innovation Standing Committee that I get to be a part of. Our chair and co-chair represented our committee well. Our own district assessment coordinator, Sarah Hatton from Adair, and Kathy Stovall from Louisville. She is our co-chair, presented on the short-term and long-term goals of the standing committee, as well as the progress we've made to date. So if you get a chance to watch that, it's the one of the third or fourth big items around the 2-hour, 8-minute mark. If you want to watch that update around the Kentucky United We Learn initiative. In addition, yesterday at the Kentucky Board of Education meeting, they had discussions around their learning agenda and some upcoming committees or subcommittees that they will be developing. And so those are maybe of interest to you because it is around the vital learning experiences as well as the assessment and accountability and the innovation that Kentucky is looking toward. And so it was a really good discussion about assessments and accountability and that mindset. So if you get a chance to view that discussion, it takes place at around the 18-minute mark on the board meeting from yesterday. And again, that was on Wednesday, the 12th. So those are just a couple of updates from around the workings. We are preparing for, as we all know, testing is just around the corner. Some districts are starting to test later this month. And of course, the alternate Kentucky Summit of Assessment opens next week. So we wish each of you all the best in testing. If there's anything that you need, please reach out to us. We will cancel the monthly DAC webcast for May because that is looking like the biggest week for testing. And so we wish you the best. And as always, please stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.